Konami Studios.
Alright everyone, let's do this again. The Last Ronin, the second issue of this new Tmnt miniseries. Y'all were very vocal on how I was wrong about this book. In issue 1, I was very adamant on saying, you don't need to do this story for the turtles. I understand there's an audience for it, but I don't think you have to do this. Now, I got some hurtful comments from some people saying I don't understand the turtles, and maybe I don't understand them the way you do. I'm not going to get into a pissing match with you guys over whether or not we needed this story, or if it's good, or if it's emotional, or full of anything. I still think I will stand by this. The first issue is a complete and utter miserable disaster that is just trying to invoke this sense of desperation and this dark feeling that I don't care for. I don't like the first issue. I still don't think it holds up. And I will say this. The second issue here that we are going to talk about, it's a little better. And we'll get into some of the things I liked about it in a second here. I just want to say, I can definitely tell why this was heavily delayed. Like, it just has this energy of something that is going to be going through the workshop numerous times to get the result they're looking for. And that result still is ultimately disappointing. This one, I said it last time that there was like this lack of emotional care or essence. This one tries to go for the emotional beats. It still doesn't feel like anything to me. It still feels hollow and full of this empty void that I don't care for. There's some moments I like that I wish were presented in a better way that I think would allow the book to flow more naturalistically and tell a better story. So, okay, let's get into this before we get into like the actual story. I want to say this because I think it's very important to my opinion on the book. The stuff in this book I liked is the flashbacks. Now, what I want to say about that is, I think if you were to do this book and you didn't call it The Last Ronin, you called it The Last Battle of the Tmnt, and we showed the entire flashback in its entirety, the last battle, like the truce breaking between the two families, and they're fighting and they're clashing. We see like the end battle of our heroes dying, leaving Mikey to go on his revenge path in a last issue. I think that would work way better than the story we're getting. Because as it stands, the story we're getting is so clouded with some bullshit that I don't care for. But if we just here's our story, we're watching our characters in their last battle, things happen, people go out in the way they're supposed to, and then we're like, here's Mikey's journey in the Alps. He comes back as this man ready to fulfill the identity of the Last Ronin. That would be better than what I'm seeing here. I'm sure you guys will tell me I'm wrong about this book, but I just wanted to say that. It is better than the first issue. It's still got some misery porn in it, but it's got a little bit more of that hopeful energy in your misery porn. You know, like you're spraying your load and you don't get it on anybody. That's the kind of feeling this book gives me. So we open up, we see April wakes up crying because, of course she does. Why wouldn't she? And we get a flashback to Casey and April about to announce their engagement to each other, which is something, I said this before, I get why these two always end up together. I get the Casey and April relationship. They're the only two humans. They have to end up together. They're in a world of freaks. They're the only normal ones. I get it. I just think, why can't we see them with other people? I think that's a cool concept too. I'm not complaining about it. I'm not complaining about these two being engaged in this book. All I'm saying is, I saw it before. Raph breaks through the door. He is covered in blood. He knocks everything off the table. They're dragging in Master Splinter. It looks like Master Splinter is about to die. And they're like, what's happening? The Foot attacked us. They ambush us. They try to attack us. Master Splinter is probably going to die. We can't really stop this from me. Raph's getting pissed off. He's like, I'm going out there, taking some heads. I'm taking them all down with me. But Leo walks in with the clear level head, which I really enjoyed. That's one of the things I really liked about this issue. I think the character in this entire book that was written to perfection was the portrayal of Leonardo, because throughout the entirety that we see him in the flashbacks, he has a cool head. He's like, I chased them away. They're gone right now. Maybe they're at the docks, but right now our focus is on our father. We have to get him okay. I'm going to call Dr. Lee. We're going to try to save him. And Donnie's kind of out of it. He's trying to figure out what to do. Mikey's in the corner crying. He's like, my dad's probably going to die. But Leo's the one with the level head, which I really like to see. And the entire time, they're just looking around where's Raph? And Leo's like, oh, damn it. And we'll get back to that in a bit here. I like Raph's betrayal too, but I think Leo just had that extra energy. We cut back to the present day. April, she's putting on her robotic arm. She's trying to grab her robotic leg, and she's calling out to Casey, which is supposed to imply to us that it's Casey Jones, like the man Casey Jones. But we know it's not, so whatever. I get it. I get why you're doing this. I'm fine by it. We get a nice... I kind of like this scene, too. So we get the present day Michelangelo. He's trying to cook some tea, and he's hearing, like, these stories about his brothers, like... who would have believed like April could have survived this stuff? And they're all talking about stuff, and it's just kind of like catching up, talking with themselves. It's kind of fun, but the entire time the idea comes into play that the ghosts of his brothers are kind of like talking about why, like, the thing Raph did, and the stuff that happened to his brothers, and how they all died, and how they all went on these stupid missions. And I kind of like this energy that Michelangelo is just like, it's never enough, like everything I did. I went to every battle with you guys, every stupid thing you ever did, and all of you guys just want to judge me for the actions I'm taking now. Like, I'm done with that, okay? You want to talk to me about honor? What about the stupid shit you're doing? Of course this mission I'm trying to do is a one-way ticket. That's what a Ronin does, you son of a bitch. I liked that. I thought that made sense for the character we're seeing here of Michelangelo. He is on the edge of his temper. He is slowly losing himself. So the fact that his brothers are kind of like talking shit to him in his own head in the way they kind of did when they were younger, it makes sense to me. I don't have any problem with that. And we see that Michelangelo makes his tea. He kind of says his piece to his brothers. They have their one last cheer. This is what Master Splinter raised us for, taking out the last Oroku. And we cut back to a flashback. Now, this is the part of the book I'm like, if this was the entire book, if the book was called like The Last Days of the TMNT and we saw their story and how everything ends up, I would like that a lot more than what we saw. So we see Raphael is going on his mission. He's not hiding in the shadows anymore. He's walking through subways. He's going across everything. He's out for blood. He's looking for Karai. He's killing and taking down a bunch of foot soldiers. We get a shot where Karai is just like on the docks, like Leo said, and she's like, we will stand, we will take them all down. And a bunch of foot soldiers are just being killed and murdered recklessly. And suddenly it just becomes a bloodbath, and we see that Raphael's taking them all down, taking names, cutting off heads, just doing his best to take everyone down. And Karai's just like, I guess we're fighting it, kill him. And they get into a huge fight, and it looks pretty good. I think, like I said, this is the part of the story that made sense to me. Master Splinter's probably gonna die. Leo's keeping his head cool, like, we can't go out and fight them. We have to collect, regroup, and come back later. But Raph's like, fuck that. I'm going in for the kill. I'm going in to take down the foot, and he's doing a good job. He's taking a bunch of blows. There's blood coming off him. He's getting arrows shot in his shell and all over him, and I like that a lot. But he comes in to attack Karai, and the two of them just get into like a huge fight, just knocking each other down, taking shots, falling into the water, where they both eventually just fall to their own death, which I think is kind of cool. Well, it's kind of implied that Karai dies, but we know she doesn't, and she kind of comes back. But that's the end of Raphael, which I get it. That seems like how Raph would go out. Like, I don't think that's bad at all. He'd definitely go out in a blaze of glory. I thought that's cool. Like, just the shot of the single Sai sinking down into the bottom of the ocean. It's cool. I don't have anything against it. Like, it's fine. Yeah. It's cool. If this was the whole book, I'd like it a lot more, I think. Come back to the present day. April and Mikey catch up, just like, yeah, everything's kind of crazy, the stuff we've done here to have to survive, and we see everything's... You get it. Like, it's just people catching up. They're like, I'm glad you're alive. I'm surprised you survived this, April, and that kind of stuff. And April's just kind of like, yeah, I mean, we're doing our best here. And then we see that, of course, Casey is back. And who's the Casey? It's the young girl we saw earlier, Casey Marie Jones. We saw her in the first issue. We kind of knew that it was going to be a Jones of some kind, which I of course, I have nothing against this. I get it. Of course you have to do it. That we can't have the Turtles have kids, so it's got to be a Jones having a kid. And I get it. So she's just like, yo, so you're one of the Turtles, eh? That's great. I saw you getting your ass kicked, you crazy son of a bitch. They just kind of have some nice catching up. It's cute. It's kind of this idea, like the idea of family being presented again, and they're talking about that kind of stuff, which I like it. It's nice. It's kind of nice to see that. And we get some stuff with, what was it, the grandson of the Shredder? I can't remember what his name is. I don't care. The last Oroku. He's fighting his like, foot ninjas. He's just having a good time. He's like, I will take down that beast and end this battle once and for all. You get it. It's fine. And everyone's catching up. And there's not a lot to it. Like, there's a resistance forming, which I talk about this in some of my other reviews I've done too. Why does everything have to be called a resistance? Why? We know it's a resistance. Like, There's an underground thing being formed. Why is it called the Resistance? I don't know. Something about this book too, I'm just realizing, is where the hell are the other mutants? Are they? I can't remember if we saw them in the last one, like some of our other known, like our known characters. Where are they? Who knows? Maybe something good. I don't know. But it's fine. It's fine. I don't know. It's just fine. The book is just fine. So there's a Resistance. Casey's gonna go show Michelangelo her setup with all her stuff that she uses to train, because she's like, I grew up on stories of the Ninja Turtles. You guys are like heroes to me. I love seeing all that stuff. We see that she recovers some of the weapons from her brothers and the bandanas, and it's like Michelangelo's really happy he found them, and she's kind of like, I have a question for you. Like, what happened to you? After everything like went wrong and we lost everyone, where did you go? And we get a nice flashback that I think looks terrible. I get why you did it in this style. It's an homage to the original way it looks. I get it. The colors don't blend that well. They just all blend into like look stupid. And the flashback is just Michelangelo went into the mountains to train, to figure out, or just kind of like to find peace is pretty much what it was. He wanted to find peace, and he realized that in order to find peace, he had to become a Ronin, because he left without honor, and now he's mad and he needs to go like honor his family, and that means ending the fight and getting the job done. And the pages to me just don't look that great. Like this looks like it was maybe the why it was delayed. I was gonna say reshoots, but that's not it. This might be why it's delayed. Just trying to like rush this page out. It doesn't look too good to me. But it pretty much just gives us the idea that Michelangelo wanted to find peace, but he just found anger, and he came back to avenge his family. And that's probably what we're gonna see him do. And if it's not a big deal. Great. I don't know, guys. I just don't know. There's so much about this book that's just pointless. Was this like 48 issues or something? It's bigger than the average book. I don't think this issue needed to be that. It didn't. We're getting like, how many pages do we have dedicated to like the flashback with Michelangelo going? How many pages do we have dedicated to, Casey Jones showing Michelangelo her stuff? You don't really need that, but whatever, it works. I don't know. It's fine. It's all fine. And we see that April is sneaking through like one of the rooms she has in there. She's opening up a safe, and we see that she's bringing out the head of the Fugitoid, which makes me think we're finally going to see some other characters in here, which is something I was complaining about in the last issue too. You have an expansive lore with the Turtles. Why aren't we seeing them? Whatever. That's where the book ends. It is a completely fine, mediocre piece of Ninja Turtle storytelling that is going to make a lot of people think it's all high and mighty, because it's again homaging something Frank Miller did. I don't know. This book will continue not to be for me. I don't think the Turtles need to be this dark. I don't think this was an emotionally satisfying book. The characters acted in character for the most part. Michelangelo like trying to come back from like not being able to find peace. It's okay. I get that. I just don't care, and the emotional beats don't have any resonating factors with me, so I can't recommend this book. I would recommend it in the regards that if this does super fucking well, we are gonna get more Ninja Turtle books like this, where we're gonna go in different areas and tell different stories. Because how cool would it be if we told like a Ninja Turtle story in like the medieval times? And like it's all about like dark magic and stuff, where we go to like, Prohibition era and that kind of, I don't know. I think that's kind of cooler than just doing like the future Resistance fighting the villain and the last hero struggling to survive stuff. If this book gives us more Ninja Turtle stories, then it did its job well. That's all I'm gonna say. I have nothing else to say except that I like the end with Wrath, because that was a very satisfying thing to see Raphael do. Other than that, it's a mediocre book that a lot of people are going to hype up, and I just can't. I just don't like it. I'm sorry, it's not for me. Is it 5 issues or 3 issues? I don't remember. Either way, great for this thing to exist. It's fantastic, actually, because it's doing record numbers for Turtles and IDW. So that's a good thing, I guess. So TMNT, The Last Ronin, issue number 2, I am going to give a 5 out of 10. Now, thank you guys so much for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, all that good stuff, and I will catch you in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, good luck.